Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today, we're going to be discussing the Hogwarts Express and the UK National Rail Network. With a platform that's invisible, inaccessible to muggles, and a rail line that heads to a magical school in the Scottish Highlands, you probably won't be surprised to hear me say that the railway trip out to Hogwarts is unusual to say the least. Trains play a pivotal part in Harry Potter, with Platform 9 3/4 and the Hogwarts Express both playing a crucial role in Harry's first trip away from the Dursleys and off into the wizarding world. But have you ever wondered how this magical railway ride fits into a pre-existing national rail network? The UK National Rail Network, to be specific. Does the Hogwarts Express exist entirely independently from the rest of these trains, or does it share some of the same tracks? Does it transport some of the same passengers? Is the Hogwarts Express able to magically avoid collisions? What gives? From our perspective, it all starts at Platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross Station, where students board the Hogwarts Express, a scarlet steam engine transporting students to and from Hogwarts. The platform can be accessed by walking straight through the barrier between Platforms 9 and 10, but you may have a bit of a hard time if it's A, your first go, or B, you're a muggle. Platform 9 3/4 was of course filmed at King's Cross Station on the edge of central London. It's an active railway station, but at the real station you will find that Platforms 9 and 10 are separated by tracks. For filming, Platforms 4 and 5 were renumbered 9 and 10, and at the station today you'll find the hidden access to Platform 9 3/4 complete with half a luggage cart disappearing into the wall. Once you've made it past Platform 9 3/4, next you'll be boarding the Hogwarts Express. The train runs between King's Cross Station and Hogsmeade Station, making the trip approximately 6 times per year, or more if necessary. It's on the Hogwarts Express that Harry's relationship begins to blossom with the other two members of the famous trio, Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley. Once you finish your journey on the train, your next destination as a new student is a school that you may have heard of, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. But in order to answer the question of how this railway network fits in with the Muggle networks, we need to dive deeper into the history of the Hogwarts Express. Thanks to Pottermore, we've got some information that's not particularly well known, even to the bigger Harry Potter fans. When it occurred to the Ministry that transporting students to Hogwarts needed to be addressed, then Minister for Magic Ottoline Gamble came up with a solution. A daring and controversial solution to the thorny problem of transporting students was finally suggested by Minister for Magic Ottoline Gamble, who was much intrigued by Muggle inventions and saw the potential in trains. Where exactly the Hogwarts Express came from has never been conclusively proven, although it is a fact that there are secret records at the Ministry of Magic detailing a mass operation involving 167 memory charms and the largest ever mass concealment charm performed in Britain. The morning after these alleged crimes, a gleaming scarlet steam engine and carriages astounded the villagers of Hogsmeade, who had also not realised they had a railway station, while several bemused Muggle railway workers down in Crewe spent the rest of the year grappling with the uncomfortable feeling that they had mislaid something important. When Ottoline Gamble commandeered a Muggle train to serve as the new mode of transport for Hogwarts students, she also had constructed a small station in the wizarding village of Hogsmeade, a necessary adjunct to the train. The Ministry of Magic felt strongly, however, that to construct an additional wizarding station in the middle of London would stretch even the Muggles' notorious determination not to notice magic when it was exploding in front of their faces. It was Evangeline Orpington, minister from 1849 to 1855, who hit upon the solution of adding a concealed platform at the newly Muggle-built King's Cross Station, which would be accessible only to witches and wizards. With this brief bit of history on the Hogwarts Express, I suspect that it either connects onto a Muggle train line shortly after departing from King's Cross, or it simply uses its own unique line the entire way. Perhaps even it's a bit of both. To defend point 1, it would make perfect sense for witches and wizards to utilize, leverage the existing station's infrastructure. Why construct an entire railway line when they can simply use what's already there and cast somewhere in the vicinity of 167 memory charms to conceal the work done and achieve said alterations? With this approach, all the Ministry would need to do is create a secret platform, then produce some sort of concealed junction in a location that's relatively inconspicuous and nearby. The train itself doesn't particularly stick out or appear inherently magical, so there'd be no reason for them not to use existing railway lines. As far as collisions with other trains goes, it just so happens that the Hogwarts Express underwent several magical modifications before being approved by the Ministry for school use. I hypothesize that these modifications were put in place in order to address this very issue, but I could also be way off. The second point, however, that the Hogwarts Express operates on its own line entirely, might actually make more sense. One of the main pieces of rationale behind my support for this theory is the fact that Hogsmeade had its own station built under Ottoline Gamble's instruction, a necessary adjunct to the train. From my perspective, there's absolutely no way that the Ministry of Magic would chance a Muggle line's arrival in Hogsmeade, as that would be a direct infringement on the International Statute of Secrecy, which preserves the divine harmony between Muggle and magical worlds. The next argument for this second theory is that no other trains are ever mentioned running along the scenic route of the Hogwarts Express. It seems as though the Hogwarts Express runs along an exceptionally rural route, passing by, seemingly, very few cities and towns. The train rattled onwards, speeding them out into open country. They made regular checks on the train as they flew further and further north, each dip beneath the clouds showing them a different view. London was soon far behind them, replaced by neat green fields, which gave way in turn to wide, purplish moors, villages with tiny toy churches, and a great city alive with cars like multicolored ants. This route, provided the omission of information pertaining to cities is due to a lack of cities, contradicts existing northern Muggle routes out of King's Cross towards Scotland, that, in actuality, pass by many cities and towns, including Peterborough, Durham, Edinburgh, etc. The Hogwarts Express doesn't appear to be on any sort of existing rail network, and I say this because no railway stations are ever mentioned on its journey. With all of that said, perhaps the modifications to the train by the Ministry, mentioned earlier, will focus more towards concealment rather than collision avoidance. I'd imagine that a lone railway line heading towards a magical school, with no stops for that matter, would draw a considerable amount of attention. To stop any awkward questions, it would be easiest to just make the train invisible to Muggles' eyes. Cue complex concealment charms. To construct the line, which covers a lot of ground, I'd imagine that it would have taken an awful lot of careful, secretive work. But for dire situations when curious Muggle eyes happen to witness what was happening, there's always the 167 memory charms mentioned earlier. But I do have one more thing to add. In various shots in the films, we see the Hogwarts Express travelling across a bridge that I happen to know something about. The bridge is known as the Glenfinnan Viaduct, found in Scotland. It's located on the West Highland Line in Glenfinnan, Inverness-shire, Scotland. It is the longest concrete railway bridge in Scotland, at 416 yards, 380 metres, and crosses the River Finnan at a height of 100 feet. The viaduct also overlooks the Glenfinnan Monument and the waters of Loch Shiel. Provided that we have visual proof of the Hogwarts Express travelling across a known bridge, and not just random countryside, evidence would suggest that the Hogwarts Express does indeed travel across some known railway lines. For that reason, my final conclusion is that the Hogwarts Express travels along a bit of both. Whichever way you break it down, implementing a wizarding transportation system that's integrated with the Muggle world is no easy feat. The largest ever mass concealment charm being performed is a testament to just how seriously this matter was taken, and sometimes I just wonder, why not flu powder? And that's it for this video. If you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Did you ever wonder about this question? Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.